Hallo Freunde und willkommen zurück zu einer neuen Folge, zu einer neuen Reaction, keine Folge. Mal kurz der Blick, wie immer, ihr kennt es ja schon. Heute auf 15 mysteriöse Encounters Kauget on Dashcam. Also mysteriöses Zeug auf einer Dashcam. Wir sind bei Americano. Und wir lassen natürlich direkt einen Like auf Ehre da. Und starten auch directly rein.
Dashboard cameras are a necessity in cars in order to record incidents that happen on the roads and to provide
Ich verstehe absolut kein Wort.
proof of any accidents a driver is involved in to show whether they were responsible or not. As they're permanently recording, they capture other things on the road too and are becoming an increasingly common source of unusual sightings and events. We've collected some of the most strange and inexplicable videos together. So here are 15 mysterious encounters that were caught on Dashcam. Before we begin, make sure to hit the like button,
Haben wir schon.
subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell for more amazing videos every day. With that being said, let's begin. Number 15. Motorcycle rider sees ghost. In this video, the motorcyclist is driving along a quiet, dark road in India and accidentally misses the turning he needs to get home. Instead of turning back on himself, he decides to continue along until the next junction. But this was a decision he ended up
Was ist
regretting.
da?
He traveled along miles upon miles of road without any sign of anyone else along the route. He had ventured far away from civilization, and this is the last place you'd expect to see
Ja, das hier, ne? Meinen die.
anyone at this time of
Das hier, oder?
night. But with his headlight in a high beam to see the road ahead, the
Oh,
unmistakable shape of a person begins
krass.
to come into view. It's a woman who's walking in the opposite direction to him. She doesn't have any lights with her and certainly doesn't appear to be dressed appropriately for these conditions or have any supplies with her. With at least 5 miles to any destination from this point, is it possible that this is a person who's decided to take on the pitch black
Lol, die steht
journey
da
on
halt
foot?
einfach
Or,
und
as the
guckt
driver
da.
suspected, was she a ghost who routinely walks back and forth along this stretch of road? It's possible that she was
Lol, der fährt nochmal zurück und das Ding steht da immer noch, Alter.
one of the victims of an accident that had happened there a few years earlier, and she remained to either help prevent
Also, pass auf, mit meinem Superklasse Drittklass Englisch ist hier mal ein Unfall passiert
others
und dieser Geist ist da halt immer noch,
from
glaube
suffering
ich.
the same fate, or maybe
Warte mal.
to try and cause more accidents. Who knows? What do you think?
Gib mir, ja,
Time for the
okay.
rear topic. This is one of the most frightening and
Ja, was ist das, Alter?
mysterious images that's ever been caught on Dashcam, and still to this day, no one has an answer to explain what this is. The driver was traveling home at night through a country road.
Lol,
There was no
was
sign of
ist das?
civilization for miles around. With just his headlights to illuminate the way, he was shocked when suddenly a creature was lit up in the road ahead. This wasn't your usual encounter with wildlife on the road, however, and he would have probably preferred to be facing a deer or a bear. Instead, he found this creature, which almost looks like a buffalo if it wasn't for the fiendish mouth on its face. With an almost circular row of sharp teeth, there's not much that would survive an attack by one of these. Do you know what it is? And how would you handle a situation if you found yourself face to face with one?
Keine Ahnung.
If it
Das
really is a
finde
species
ich jetzt
that
aber
hasn't
nicht so
been
krass, weil
discovered
das ist ja
before,
kein
what
Video,
would
das ist ja
you
nur ein
name it?
Bild.
As always, comment down below with the hashtag rear topic and let us
Hashtag,
know your
hashtag
opinion
real
in
topic.
relation to what we just showed on screen. Let's move on to the next one. Number 14. Strange creature crossing. This next footage was recorded on the dashcam of a police car. The officer is rushing to find the scene of an accident that he knows has taken place somewhere down the road. But
Da.
on his way, he and his partner encounter something very strange. As it's dark, it's quite difficult to make out on the video the first time you see it. But a
Hä?
strange creature runs across the road in front of them. It seems
Hä, ich
like a
seh
dark
gar
shadow,
nix.
but then becomes more clear as an animal covered in dark fur that's running on 4 legs. It's moving at an unbelievable speed, and it leaves the police officers baffled about what it
Hä?
might be. Is it a normal animal that's been spooked and looks strange in the lighting conditions?
Das
Or is there
hier.
something more mysterious going on here? It seems too
Das wäre
fast,
mir
doesn't it?
gar nicht.
Quick
Was ist denn das? Das ist ein Pixelbrei hier. Also das ist jetzt echt
The
auch
officers tried
Bullshit.
to see if they could find it again, but to no avail. This is one encounter that's destined to never be solved. Do you have any idea what it is? Number 13.
Besser.
Massive red-orange flash. This video was recorded on the dash cam of a driver who was traveling along the highway in the Russian Ural Mountains when he suddenly came across a very unusual environment display. The
Ja, es
entire
hat was
ride was
explodiert,
lit
oder?
up with an orange and red light that grew out of nowhere. And once it reaches its peak intensity,
Das
it
ist jetzt
fades
auch
back
nichts
into darkness
Besonderes.
once more. It's a stunning sight, but more importantly, what kind of event could have produced so much light that it illuminated the night sky for miles around? There are a number of explanations that have been suggested since the video was shared online, such as a volcanic eruption, a fire at a factory, or maybe even cloud lightning. Some have suggested more radical ideas too.
Bam,
like a secret
explodiert.
Russian spacecraft launch,
Und wieder
a
weg.
UFO that's visiting Earth and
Oh
was
ja,
raining
Mann, jetzt
down,
war's
or that
it's
fallen
a
by a
Alien.
meteor as it entered the Earth's atmosphere. Each of these would certainly go some way to explaining the bright light, but they're by no means definite, and it could have been countless other things too. If you were to guess, what would you say was the cause of the flash that night? Number 12. Car collision from nowhere. When you're driving, there's one thing you want to avoid at all costs: crashing. But what if there were invisible objects on the road that you could crash into without any warning? That's what seems to be the case in Singapore, as this video shows.
Lol, woher kam das Auto her?
Was waiting at a junction for the
Bam, jetzt ist erschienen.
perfect opportunity to cross. You see
Lol.
cars on the other side at first, but now there's no sign of any, and virtually
Das
everyone in
Nichts.
the world will see this as ample opportunity to make the maneuver. As he pulls forward, though,
Nichts. Nichts.
another
Junge, mach diesen spastischen. Nichts.
vehicle appears
Nichts. Jetzt ist es aufgetaucht. Einfach
in
gespawnt,
front of them,
Alter.
and they collide. Luckily, no one was injured in the incident. But
Krass.
is there any way it could have been prevented? If you watch the video back, you can see that there's absolutely no sign of the other vehicle at all. The driver didn't stand a chance. The other car definitely had a physical presence because the two hit into one another. But is it possible that it was a ghost and only appeared at just the wrong moment? Is there any other way that this incident can be explained without resorting to otherworldly phenomena? After studying it closely, many experts
Das
say
verstehe ich
there
gar
isn't.
nicht.
The car doesn't approach from the other side. There are no secret junctions, and the driver in front of the one recorded is being so cautious before crossing, he surely would have seen something. How would you explain it? Number 11. Yet he found in Russia. This Russian man was driving through an empty, dark, and snow-covered road one night. While
Boah.
the conditions outside in the midst of the Russian winter seem inhospitable to virtually any animal, he encounters something hard to explain. As he's slowly moving forward, a human-like creature can be seen in the distance.
Das?
But
Man sieht ihm aus, naja, gut. Ist ja auch gelb gefärbt.
it's covered in snow-white fur.
Und jetzt
There's
ist
no way
weg.
that this was a person, because the road is so far away from any town or village that they would have to trek many, many miles in these awful conditions. It's walking in a similar way to a big ape, like a gorilla. But again, it couldn't be one of them because of the sub-zero temperatures. Many who've seen the footage, including the driver himself, are convinced that this is the first time the elusive Yeti has been caught on camera. Thought to live in the nearby mountains, these creatures are said to be distant relatives of Bigfoot and are equally as shy when it comes to human
Keine Ahnung, was das
interactions.
ist.
Whatever it is, it stays in the distance away from the car and sneaks back off into the darkness. It's never been seen since. But the story
Ja,
video
komm.
re-energized locals' beliefs about its existence, and several search parties have been sent out to see if they can
Das
find
denke ich mir
evidence
auch gerade.
themselves. So far, these efforts have failed to provide anything of substance, but it'll only take one lucky photo to support what was seen in this video and confirm the existence of the abominable snowman once and for all. Number 10. Ghostly hitchhiker? Have you ever hitchhiked? And if so, how easy was it to get someone to pick you up? This video that was recorded on a dashcam in Singapore shows a hitchhiker stood in the middle of a side road with their hand held out. But there's something not quite right about this person, if it is in fact a person at all. The vehicle is traveling along the road at high speed and there's barely any other traffic on the road. As it passes the junction, however, you can make out the strange hitchhiker.
Hä?
They appear to be transparent and far taller than you'd expect of a human. Is this then a ghost trying to make its way home for the evening? Or perhaps someone who lost their life while hitchhiking in the same place? To make things even weirder, this apparition was only there momentarily. The driver, having sensed that something was there, looked in his rear view
Ja, gut, na, aber.
mirror to take another but the road user had vanished into thin air. Is this a ghost, do you think? Or is there something much more obvious that's going on? Number 9. Ghost Bride. This woman was driving through a country lane in western Russia late at night when she came across something that would send shudders down her spine. She begins on a lit highway and makes a turn into the small road that takes her back to her home. As she gets onto the road, though, there's something in what looks like a wedding dress. But how is it stood up? Her dashcam captures the moment she stops in front of the bride, who's standing incredibly still for such a cold night. After looking through the footage, that was caught. Researchers are convinced that this is actually the ghost of a bride. In the 80s, there was a huge car accident on this exact stretch, and a wedding party died almost instantly. The newly married couple didn't survive, and the bride was wearing a dress that looked exactly like this. But why do you think she chose this moment to reappear and visit the site? Or has she been a regular visitor ever since that fateful day? Do you even believe that this is a ghost? Or could it be a piece of junk that someone has annoyingly left there? Make sure to let us know. Number 8. Policeman evaporates into thin air. This footage is of a routine traffic stop that's being conducted by a police officer in the US. It begins like any other that are carried out thousands of times around the world each day, but this one's about to take a surprising turn. The cop approaches the car to ask the driver for his license and registration, but a blinding white light starts to shine from somewhere down below. It engulfs the police officer, and once it dies down, he's nowhere to be seen. The only trace of him can be seen on the ground where he was standing. It's a pile of his clothes that are smoldering. What happened to the cop? Did the driver in the car have anything to do with it? The officer was never seen again, and authorities were stunned when they saw this footage. After having been forced to
Das checke ich jetzt zum Beispiel gar nicht.
they attempted to track down the driver who'd been stopped, but were unable to locate him. So this disappearance remains a complete mystery. What do you think happened? Did the cop spontaneously combust? Was he taken by aliens? Or was this some sort of
LOL.
weapon that the driver used because he knew he was about to be found out for doing something illegal? We may never know. Number 7. Rain and fire. When you're driving, the weather conditions can change in an instant. What begins as a sunny day can soon become cloudy and then perilously rainy. But this video shows just how unpredictable the weather can truly be.
Lol,
Driver in
einfach.
China is caught in severe traffic in this street. What's about to happen, however, meant that he wasn't complaining that he'd been forced to remain so far back. As you can see, there's a slight storm at the time, but I bet you've never seen rain like this. Suddenly a shower of fire
Einfach
falls down across the road.
alle Blätter.
Everything and sends sparks flying everywhere.
Hä?
If you slow the footage down, however, you can see exactly what's happened. A lightning bolt hits the trees to the left and instantly turns them into flames. The pieces of burning wood are sent flying in all directions and causes an incredible sight. Fortunately, no one was injured during the event, but the cars that lay in the path had scorch marks all over their paintwork. Number 6. UFO caught on Dashcam.
Lol,
What's the most
UFO.
surprising thing you've ever caught on camera?
Ist safe
Once it was
real,
over,
Alter.
how long was it until you checked back over your recording to see if you'd captured it properly? This next driver witnessed something so unusual that we bet he reviewed his footage almost instantly. He's driving along a busy street in India, and you can see how busy the place is. There are bikes everywhere going in all sorts of directions. Other vehicles
Und da ist das UFO. Ist einfach hier.
they're just about to drive onto the road, and a number of pedestrians too. So far it's a normal street, but have you noticed what's hovering in the sky to the left? It took the driver a while to notice too, but it's the distinct shape of a flying saucer just hovering there. Could it be possible that this driver has inadvertently caught evidence of alien visitors on his camera, or perhaps even a military test flight? It seems like it'd be a strange flight path for anything to choose, but the presence of this unidentified object is undeniable. What do you think? Is it proof that they walk among us, or is it a clever forgery? Number 5. Police catches Fireball on cam. As they spend so much time on the road and have to record their movements to provide evidence if they need it, police dashcams quite often capture unusual and amazing events on film. This footage is what was recorded by an officer in Hamilton County, and it's thought by many to be a meteorite falling through the Earth's atmosphere. While that may sound like an everyday occurrence, from the ground it looks incredible and most definitely not something that happens very
Ja,
often.
das ist jetzt auch nichts Heftiges, ne?
Blindingly bright white light starts to
Also ich bin ganz ehrlich, ich habe eigentlich mehr so Geister-Shit erwartet jetzt hier in dem Video, ne?
Unsurprisingly, it wasn't just the cop who witnessed this, and hundreds of other people in the area saw it too. The event triggered
Ja, da schauen wir uns eventuell dann irgendwann noch mal eins an, wo ein bisschen mehr Ghost-Shit dabei ist.
Unfortunately, the officer was able to report back about what had happened and reassure those that were panicking. It's rare enough to see this phenomenon, but to catch it on camera is a 1 in a million chance. It's thought that all of the material in the meteor burned up before reaching the ground though, so those who were hopeful of retrieving a piece of space rock for themselves were left disappointed. Number 4. Random falling trees. This video is being recorded from the dash cam of a driver who's traveling along a forest road, and it appears as if there's a storm brewing. While the aerials on his vehicle don't seem to be affected by the wind too much, debris can be seen blowing across the street, and the branches on the trees are wobbling. Suddenly, as he turns a corner, a tree begins to fall down towards the road.
Lol, einfach alle fallen hier um.
into the street as well. It's lucky that he was able to stop in time, because once things calm down, it's impossible to see any of the tarmac. He
Lol.
would have almost certainly been hit if he was even a few feet further ahead, and this could have led to serious injury. In this event though, everyone managed to get away unscathed, but it was days until this stretch of road was cleared, and people could once again pass by. Number 3. Forest fire in their neighborhood. Forest fires are a yearly concern for people in some regions of the world, especially when the weather has been particularly hot and dry. Sometimes they can be impossible to predict, and one moment you'll be going to the store to buy some food, and the next moment you'll realize you may not have a house left to cook it in. Here's what happened when a wildfire started
Oh,
in a
shit,
Fairfield,
ey.
California neighborhood. The sky is bright orange because of the fire in the distance, and it's covered in a thick layer of smoke. Cars queue to get out of danger, but the wind suddenly changes and the fire starts moving directly towards them. Despite the impending danger, the drivers have no choice but to continue, because this is the only way out. And as you can see, things are about to get a whole lot worse. The smoke thickens and burning embers begin to rain down on them from the sky. It looks like something that's been taken directly from an apocalypse movie. Amazingly, everyone from the
Alles
neighborhood
sieht
managed to
übel
escape
heftig
safely
aus,
before
Alter.
the flames took
Du
over
musst
the
dir mal
road,
vorstellen, du
and there were no
fährst da,
reported
neben dir
injuries at all. Number 2.
brennt einfach alles ab.
Plane crashes into road. Roads are designed to be used by cars, bikes,
Plane.
and trucks. But what happens if another vehicle tries to use one? In 2012, this driver was traveling along a highway near to an airport in Moscow. And it was
Lol.
only because of his quick reactions that he managed to avoid any injury. An aircraft suddenly crashes into the side of the road and debris is sent flying into his path.
Lol, so ein
It knocked several
riesiges
cars into a
Flugzeug
slide,
einfach
and
neben der
luckily,
Straße
everyone managed to
abgekackt.
regain control. The plane itself wasn't left in such a good state and had managed to overshoot the runway almost entirely. Quite why the pilots still tried to land when they should have known there wasn't enough space to do so is unclear. But everyone involved that day was extremely
Krass,
lucky that
krass.
the incident resulted in as few injuries as it did. Number 1. Wrong ignition. The chances of being struck by lightning or even seeing lightning strike nearby is thankfully incredibly rare, but it does happen. The chances of an event like this being caught on camera are even more unlikely, but the police officer in the next video managed to beat all of those odds. He's driving along a residential street as part of his patrol, and a few drops of rain land on his windshield.
Was passiert
Suddenly
da?
there's an explosion. It looks and feels as if the car has been hit by a bomb, but in fact, it was hit by a bolt of lightning. Somehow, the officer and the others in his car survived this, which is incredible. When you think of
Ist
the
der
amount of
Blitz in das
energy
Auto
that must have
eingeschlagen?
passed through the vehicle. For a split second, you can see the orange of the fire that it started, but they were able to escape from the vehicle before it burned through. It just goes to show that no matter how careful you are when you're driving, new dangers can come at you from any direction. With a little luck though, you can even survive a lightning strike directly to the car, which is somewhat reassuring. Which
Check
of
ich
these did
gar
you
nicht.
find to be the most mysterious? Have you ever experienced anything
Krass,
similar to
krass,
this?
Leute. Naja,
Make
ich sag's wie es ist, war ein cooles Video, Alter. Jetzt fange ich hier schon an, Englisch zu reden. Es war an sich ein cooles Video, aber ich habe ein bisschen mehr Geister-Shit erwartet. Wenn es euch trotzdem gefallen hat, liken, abonnieren, kommentieren. Ihr wisst Bescheid. Auch hier bei dem Originalvideo mal vorbeischauen und bis dahin. Tschüss.